Hi, I'm Freddie Roach. I'm a boxing trainer, and today we're going to give you an advanced lesson on how to box. I had the greatest trainer in the world, I think, Eddie Fudge, teach me how to box and how to do this sport. He trained me as a professional for 9 years. I had 54 pro fights, 150 amateur fights. And I started boxing when I was 6 years old, so boxing is my life, and it's what I do. I have the Wild Card Boxing Club in Hollywood, California, and I get to the gym at 9 o'clock every morning, I go home at 8 o'clock every night. People say, how can you spend that much time in the gym? I says, well, this is what I do, and this is my life. And I've had 17 world champions so far, and Eddie Fudge has had 22, and I'm chasing him, but we'll see if I can get a few more in the near future, I hope. But again, Eddie was a great teacher. He taught me a lot about the game, inside and outside of the ring. And as I was a pretty good fighter, again, I had a lot of fights. I fought Bobby Chacon for the title, Hector Camacho, and I had a lot of good experience and so forth. But then when I retired from boxing, I became Eddie Fudge's assistant about a year later. Virgil Hill was getting ready for a fight. He was a sparring partner for James Shula. And so James Shula had all this attention in his corner. Eddie was training both guys, and Virgil came back to the corner in sparring one day, and he had nobody in his corner. So I went up there, gave him some advice, gave him a drink of water, and Virgil asked me if I would help him out, and that's how it all happened. I mean, I had no clue after my boxing career that I would be involved in boxing anymore in my life. I thought it was over. And then Virgil asked me to help him out because Eddie was busy with Larry Holmes and Ken Norton, all these other guys, these big heavyweight champions. So Virgil became my first champion when I was 27 years old. And I think I was the youngest trainer to become champion. And it was a great moment. I mean, I wanted to be champion of the world when I was a fighter, of course. I mean, that's every fighter's goal. I think that should be every fighter's goal. If you can't be world champion, I don't think you should be in this sport. I mean, there's easier ways to make a living. But, I fought for the title with two champions. I came up a little bit short. Again, I wish I could have been world champion, but I just wasn't at that level. I was just a little bit below it, and I tried my best, and I gave everything I did to boxing. And then becoming a trainer, though, with Eddie Fudge, I was Eddie's assistant again for 5 years, and Virgil was my first champion. And just helping him get to that point was great. I mean, I felt so good that night when he won the world title. He was a 4-1 dog. He knocked out Leslie Stewart in the 4th round. And it was a great moment in my life. I think probably the best. I was very happy, and it was almost like winning a world championship myself, but, well, not quite that, but at least I had a guy that I represented that he became world champion. And so since that time, I've been put in the Hall of Fame for my training, and I was Trainer of the Year in 2003. And like people like to say, boxing's been very good to me. I mean, I go back home to where I grew up in the projects in Dedham, Massachusetts, and a lot of people say, oh, you're lucky you get out and so forth. And I think it's just a choice in life. We all have that choice to get out of poverty or whatever. We just make that choice to better ourselves, and that's what I want to be. So boxing again has been good to me. It's my life. It's what I do, and I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you some technique, some real advanced stuff that Mr. Fudge taught me, and he made me what I am today. And we'll start a little bit on the punch mitts, and we'll go from there. First, we're going to start with the footwork. It's very important. I mean, balance is everything in boxing. I mean, if you don't have a good balance, you're going to be in trouble. I mean, you've always got to be in position to either make a punch miss or to throw a punch. You should never get caught off balance, and it's just like vital. It's like building a house. You have to have a good frame, and your legs are your frame. And it's a must thing in boxing. You have to have good balance at all times, and you never cross your feet. And we're going to go through a lot of techniques on footwork, and I'm going to have Francesca help me a little bit with this. Come on in, Francesca. Balance is, again, it's vital to a fighter. If you lose your balance, you're going to be in trouble, because if you're not in position to punch and make a punch miss, it's not a good place to be in this ring. And again, Eddie Fudge taught me the sweet science of boxing. He taught me a lot of finer points, but who started me out, though, was my father, Paul Roach. He was a very good trainer and very good at basics. And the thing is, I had 150 amateur fights with my dad as my coach, and he taught me a lot also. And we're going to get into the proper stance. Now, I see a lot of fighters, they want to get a little bit too parallel because it makes them a smaller target. And it's a good idea, of course, but we need a little bit of a base of lateral movement. So we need to take that, when you're shoulder width apart, 1 foot forward, back foot's there. You have a good balance, good base. And sometimes I like to work on a line, so we have this line in the ring here. And face me, Francesca, box me. So now our feet aren't parallel, but they're like 2 inches apart. There's a fine line there. But the thing is, if you're too parallel, put your feet on the line, you have no balance laterally. Your balance is bad, and I'll just control you easily. So if you widen that stance just a little bit, and keep your shoulders, don't get square, don't become a big target. You want to keep it short here. And very good stance here. So now if I push her, she has balance there, where she can go side to side, front and back. Okay? And if 1 foot moves 3 inches, the following foot goes right 3 inches also. 6 inches, 6 inches. They work together at all times, in and out, side to side. And some of the drills I saw people out with was coming forward with their jab. Right there. If I move back, you come in again. It's all balanced. All right? I step with my left foot, move back, and then this follows the exact same. So every time I land, I'm right on cue. I'm ready to punch. So we use this position, moving back and moving forward. Stepping in, back foot follows. So very good. Come on, back. Nice and loose. So our balance is right here. And we've always, again, whenever we land or stop, we're in a position to make a punch miss or to throw a punch. Okay? And then we, of course, back and forth and then side to side. A lot of people, when they want to move to the right, you got to lead with your right foot and slide over, okay? But a lot of times you get the tendency to get a little bit square there on that. So you have to fight that motion, okay? So this is where you get drills of using it more like a box, where you use the whole ring and go side to side, front and back, and keep that balance at all times, okay? So now when you're stepping forward, you lead with your left foot and stepping up with your right, if you're a right-handed fighter. And then if you're southpaw, of course, it's the opposite. So moving back, you go with your right foot and slide your left foot forward, back. You go. Now we move to my right, your left, okay? Step, 1 step, now step. Good. Again, you never want to end up in this position parallel. It's always good balance right here. So we're just going to move together a little bit. And I'm going to lead the dance just for now, just for experience-wise. And I want you to stay with me, okay? Come closer. That's it. So the footwork is very important. Your feet, whenever I'm here, I'm always in position. She comes at me.
Going the same direction that you're going?
Yes. So a good position to be in, and I'll call this online, is when you box me. So when my lead foot is between Francesca's legs and her lead foot is between mine, we're online. What I call online is where you can be hit. What takes us offline is head movement and a little bobbing and weaving, okay? But when we're in this position, she's right on line for me to her, but on the other hand, I'm right in line for her to strike me. So this position here is where you want to be. So when you step in with your jab, it's right there, and then right back to where it came from. You shoot the jab, good. Step, good. Again. Now step back. Again. Step. So the jab is used coming forward as a rangefinder. It's probably the most important punch in boxing. And again, if the jab doesn't land, nothing else will. But when the jab does land and you're in striking area for your other shots to follow, that's when you want to put your right hand, your left hook, and your rest of your combinations with that, of course. So the thing is, but if the jab's short and doesn't reach me, there's no way a right hand is going to reach me either. So don't waste your time by throwing the right hand and try to get lucky with me. Okay, make sure the jab starts landing first, and that'll get you a range. It'll get you in trouble, and it'll get you out of trouble. Moving in with the jab, offensively, get in your range. Okay, then moving back with the jab, using more defensively. Just, there you go. Good, good, good. Now, as you notice, when I'm coming forward, my feet are always in position. I step and slide up, and Francesca's stepping with her right foot and sliding her left foot back in position. Good job. So, and again, your feet always have to work together. So it's very important, and we'll get into some punch mitts right now, and we'll get a few combinations and how best to use the punch mitts. When I was fighting, I was the last fighter that Eddie caught on the mitts because he was getting a little bit older, you know. And again, he was still training Riddick Bowe when he was 90 years old, so he had a very great, long-lasting career. So he was the last guy that he taught me how to catch on the mitts, and I'm going to teach it to you. All right, the punch mitts, really a good tool, I think, in boxing because my fighters, when they get ready for world title fights, we have the liberty of knowing the opponents, and we can study their moves. And most of my fighters, they don't watch a lot of the tapes, like James Toney's and Pacquiao. They watch it maybe once or twice. They watch the guy and just get a general feel for what his style is, and so forth. And I'm not a real big fan on them watching films too much because styles make fights, and you know, they're watching these guys, and usually the tapes of them fighting good fights and looking really good in these fights. And I really don't believe that my fighter should make adjustments to fight his style. I'd rather control the situation and have my fighter to get him to fight our fight and control the situation. But there are certain moves that I will look for, you know, similarities or bad habits that he may have that we can take advantage of. And then when I watch the tape and I kind of learn this guy's moves and his style, I can duplicate that on the mitts. And that's what getting ready for this. This is where the strategy comes from my fighters, is on the mitts, because I'll simulate what this guy will do. You know, when you make this move, he makes that move every time you do it. So now you kind of study that, and you know he's going to make the move. So you just analyze the tape, and you find his faults, and then you take advantage of them if possible. And so the mitts are, again, a great tool, and it's probably the best thing I do in training is mitt work. I've caught everybody in the world. I mean, I've caught the Klitschko brothers, Justin Fortune, a great puncher, Mike Tyson, a great puncher, you know, Manny Pacquiao, great speed. And it's what I do. Tyson thought I was too small to catch him, and he had somebody else do it for a while, and I was sitting there watching, and the guy couldn't catch a cold. But so I put the mitts on, and I said, Mike, let's go to work. And he really fell in love with my mitt work, and he even got mad at me one day, I think, and he missed the mitt and hit me a right hook in the chin. Almost knocked me out, but I didn't go down. But he hurt me bad. But today, don't hit me. So today we're gonna go through some mitt work, and I'm gonna teach you a little bit of combinations and some moves that Eddie taught me that are very, very, very precise and calculated moves, and not something too easy though. Again, and we'll get into that as I show you. But combinations are a key to boxing. But then every time you throw a combination, though, you've got to be ready for the guy's retaliation, because he's going to punch back. I mean, so this is, you know, when you throw a certain combination, there's a certain counter punch for every punch, but then you've got to counter their attack also. So it's again, it's complicated a little bit, but it's also it can be in a simple way if you just kind of take your time and think about what you're doing. Okay, all right, let's go to work.
All right.
Okay, now first punch we're gonna work on is the left jab, and again, it's the most important punch in boxing because without the left jab, you've got nothing. If the left jab doesn't get you distance and get your range, and nothing else will. I mean, the thing is, it's a punch that's I've seen it win world titles. I saw Larry Holmes just about win the world title with his left jab. Virgil Hill, another one, just a great jab. It's a great weapon out there, and again, I think it's the best punch in boxing because it can control a fight. And let's go now. When you throw the left jab, of course, your hands up real nice, and you want to just step in with the shot and turn it over and catch it right there. Now see, my chin's protected by my shoulder, and when the jab lands, I get it right back like a piston, bang bang, right back to where it came from. Again, I see a lot of people, sometimes they throw a left jab and they bring back a little bit low. They're open for the right hand counter shot. So that hand is very important to get that right back to your face. Give me the left jab. Again. Good. All right. Now, from this, stay in the position. Now she's landing a real good left jab here, right there. And now a good punch right after the jab is the right hand. As that's coming back, there you go. Good. Just give me 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Right hand, nice and short. Let me see it again. Now with the right hand, of course, you want to pivot off the back foot. Okay, you're not just pivoting for show. Okay, you're not just pivoting. You're driving. You're pushing off the floor. Bang, right there, like Eddie told me, like you're stepping on a cigarette or you're swashing a bug. He says, you're driving off the back foot. You're not just pivoting for show again. You're driving. You're pushing off the floor, and this will get you maximum power in the right hand. Okay, because if you hit me with just your arm punch, your arm weighs 10 pounds, it's not going to hurt me. When you hit me with your body weight, when you get your toe, your hip, your shoulder right through, you hit with all your body weight, they're gonna pay attention to it. Okay, so give me the 1, 2. Good girl. Again. Now get right back in position after that. Don't stay out there. 1, 2. There you go. Good job. Again. So after she throws the 1, 2, if she lands that shot there, my counter, of course, on the right hand is a left hook. So she throws a 1, 2, boom, I'm going to try to counter there. So she better get that hand back quickly or be in position to go under my hook. And that's why I say balance is a key, because if she's in position, she should be able to go under the punch with no problem. So 1, 2, go under my hook. Good. Now it puts her right in position to hit me with the right hand right over the top. Good. When you make somebody miss that badly, 1, 2, bang, there you go. And it's a great counter shot, okay? And again, I'm countering her right hand, but she's countering my left hook. So there's always a counter to every time you throw a punch, you make an opening for the opponent, okay? So there's always that factor that you actually know that if you throw a 1, 2, my counter is usually going to be the left hook. You won't find it on the right hand side that often. So the 1, 2, it's natural for me to hook and natural for her to come up with the counter right hand. Let's do it again. Right away, quick. Again. Good, again. Good girl. Watch your bounce. There you go. So now give me a 1, 2 left hook. Good, again. Again. That's a nice short left hook she has there. And my counter on the left, if she ends the left hook, again, it's going to be the right hand. So she has to be ready to go under my right hand, okay? Boom. And then she's got her opening there to my body or to my chin. Again, when she finished the combination with the left hook, my counter is 90% of the time is going to be the right hand. And that's why it's, the more experienced fighters you see, it's like when I used to box with Alexa Aguayo when I was his sparring partner. I mean, I used to tell Eddie, I says, he knows what I'm going to throw before I do. You know, I'd throw a combination at him, and then he'd make everything miss. And I was amazed at how easily he made me miss. And I was an 18-year-old young aggressive kid. And the thing was, because I was very excited and young, and he had a lot of experience. So, but if you stop to think about it, if you end with a certain punch, you kind of know where the counter is going to be. I mean, it's pretty good. If she ends with the right hand, 90% of the time, my counter is going to be on the left side. You just got to slow down a little bit and just think about this, you know. And if she finishes with the left hook, right there, 90% of the time, my counter is going to be on the right side. And I think that's what makes the difference between a good fighter and a great fighter, is that these great fighters, they can make those moves that are not the 90%. They can make the moves that are the 10%. And like a guy like James Toney, who I train, you know, he's just a gifted guy. I mean, like when James says, he says, you know, all you guys have to train. I was born to fight. And you know what? I think it's true. You know, I mean, he's such a talented guy. I mean, he has so much talent and natural motion. I mean, the moves that he makes, you really can't teach. He's just natural. And I think that James was born to fight. He's such a good athlete. And then the thing was, like, but I got a guy like Manny Pacquiao who's just very explosive. And when I first got Pacquiao, he had no boxing skills whatsoever, but he had power and speed. And all we had to do is kind of get him to box a little bit and use his technique a little bit more. And it's getting better all the time. But again, with the Morales fight, he didn't do as well as I thought he would do. He got away from the game plan, and I couldn't get him back on track. But that's part of the job of being a trainer, of course. And you know, because I didn't get him back on track, I'll take some of the blame of that loss. And when we fight the rematch, I don't think it will happen again. At least, well, I'll use all my efforts not to make it happen again, that's for sure. So, now as a trainer, I see a lot of guys catching with the mitts, okay? And I see some good things and I see some bad things, you know. And again, I'm not a hard-headed guy where I don't think I can't learn. So if I see someone make some good moves on a mitt, I will copy them a little bit if I like it, and I'll go talk to them and I'll understand the meaning behind it, because there's always, every punch has a meaning. I mean, it's either the counter shot or setting a punch up. Is you know, because again, not the strongest guy is not going to win the fight, the smartest guy is. And that's going to happen every time in boxing, because, you know, some people think it's two dummies out there swinging at each other, but, you know, the sweet science is more complicated than I think anything in life, you know. And again, but sometimes I see trainers with the mitts, though, they catch a little bit too aggressively and they reach for punches and they come out a little bit too far. Like, throw a jab at me. See, I catch it right at the end of the punch. I get a little bit of a resistance, I just catch it a little bit. You don't want to come out and catch the punch out here, because you've got to let them come to the target, okay? Because, well, every time you punch a person, if he brings his chin to you, well, you're going to have a field day, but that's not going to happen, you know? So everything you do on the mitts should be, in my opinion, should be relevant to boxing, okay? There's nothing I do in this ring with mitts on that is not relevant to boxing, okay? I see guys get real fancy out there behind the back and under the legs and crazy stuff, and they put a real good show on and stuff like this, but it's bullshit, okay? It's not relevant to boxing, okay? It's not what happens in a fight. And everything I do in here on the mitts is relevant to boxing. There's nothing I do that's not. Every move has a reason, and every reason has a counter also. So, again, don't come out there and bang with your fighter and reach too much with the mitts. It's a mistake. Let them come to the target, okay? Just like it's a real fight. Make it more realistic, okay? You don't want to catch too widely, okay? Because if you're in the right position, if your lead foot's pointing between my legs and mine and you, we're right in the right position, your target is going to be always to your center, okay? I mean, you're not jabbing out here and over here. It's to your center, okay? And you can use the mirror a lot in boxing for that also. Because if you're shadow boxing, which a lot of people don't think is really relevant to boxing, because I see people say, you know, it looks funny shadow boxing. It's not right. But it's what, you know, it helps because the mirror doesn't lie to you, okay? So if you're working in the mirror, you're punching, your center is always the target, your chin, okay? So on the mitts, you can't have it. I see guys catching out here, like 1-2. Like, you know, who are you fighting? It's the guy who got a big head, I guess. But it's not really relevant to boxing. You catch close to your face, okay? And where the target should be. That's why sometimes I get hit, you know, and I don't like getting hit, but it's, you know, going into camp with Mike Tyson, I said, I'm going to start catching this guy, and I know he's aggressive, and, you know, he gets on a roll sometimes, and he's very strong and so forth. So you know what, going into that training camp, I says, you know what, I know I'm going to get hit at least once in this camp, and it did happen once, and Mike promised me it wouldn't happen again, so I was glad that didn't happen. So, but again, I catch close, I get hit sometimes, you know, but I got to make it real. It's got to be real in here, because when she's in a fight, it's real. Okay, and I'm going to prepare her for that, and that's what this training is all about. So, you know, when I catch a jab, you know, she basically throws it right at my chin, and I just pick it off. Catch, quick. Then a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. It's right here to center where your target's supposed to be. Okay, and 1-2 hook. Again, get it back. That's it. 1-2 hook right hand. Again. Jab. Jab. 2 jab right hand. Again. Pivot in the right hand. Right hand. Pivot. Turn it. Right hand, left hook. Right hand behind that. Again. Good job. Okay, so she only hit me once in that little combination. But the thing is, that's what it's about, okay? I mean, if as a trainer, if you get hit once in a while, it's part of life, all right? The thing is, combinations, very good. Again, we all know we're professionals. We know what combinations are, and we know head movement after combination is very important. And coming into a combination also, you need a little bit of head movement. You know, you just don't want to walk to a person with a stiff right there. You want to, right here, the little bend here, like shock absorbers, okay? So if I do get hit with a punch, I can roll with it or ride with it, okay? I don't get hit stiff-legged. If I get hit stiff like that, I'm going to end up right my, and that's where you don't want to be. But it's right here, nice balance, right there, and we're both ready to fire at each other or to make the punch miss, okay? And that's where the position you got to be into. So if I throw a left hook here to the body, now, you think about it, if I throw a left hook to the body, position-wise, I really am not in position to throw a right hand. So it's really, let's make it simple, okay? If I throw a left hook to the body, 90% of the time I'm going to throw a left hook to the head behind it. You should, and with experience, you'll know that, okay? Like when Alexa Aguayo, when he was blocking all my shots, and he knew what I was going to throw before I did, and I thought it was amazing at that time. But again, he had been in the ring so much, he was used to it, and he saw it so many times, he knew it was going to come. And I was just a young kid. But then, you know, I was a little bit too aggressive. But if you sit down and think about it, that's why on George Foreman's comeback, he did so well, because, I mean, he was calm in there. I mean, this guy, you know, he's 45, 50 years old and knocking out young guys, you know. And it was because he saw everything happening, and it didn't rattle him at all. He was comfortable with it. He's been in there so much. There was nothing he hadn't seen before, you know. So if I throw a left hook to the body, 90% of the time I'm going to go with my second hook to the head. And Francesca, if you think about it, you'll know that, and you just go under that shot and make it miss. Make it simple, right? Bang, bang. And then you've got the counter right hand right on my chin. And again, let's do it. Boom, boom, boom. Right hand. Boom, boom. Nice and short. Very good. Again, on punches like that. It was a beautiful right hand because it was so short. And what fighters make a mistake sometimes of reaching for punches, okay? Now, if you throw a jab at me here and a right hand here, now make sure you pivot in the right hand. So that's a nice short right hand. But sometimes people get a little anxious and they start throwing the right hand a little bit long. And when you throw a right hand long at me, I'm going to have time to counter the shot, okay? The thing is, a 6-inch right hand is the best right hand. It's, you know, you're right in position, your jab gets you there, you land that 6-inch right hand right there from there to there, right through the target. There you go, right there. It's a beautiful shot, and that's the shot that will knock somebody out. Something that's short and they don't see coming. Because if you throw a long right hand, I'll have time to see it coming. I'll roll with it. I'll pull away from it, or I'll step away. But I'll do something to counter that shot where it won't knock me out. And the shots that knock people out are the shots that they don't see coming. So that's why you want to go with short, crisp combinations.
Title Boxing's got you covered with more action-packed videos to get you in the best condition of your life. Featuring Danny Campbell, Michael Rutherford, Jeff Fennick, Russ Anberg, Justin Fortune, and Freddie Roach. They'll put you through the paces to show you everything you need to know to improve your speed, strength, agility, and stamina. How to wrap hands, hitting the heavy bag, medicine ball, attaining the edge of speed, interval training, punching at angles, advanced techniques, explosive speed and power, mastering the basics, punch secrets, getting bigger and stronger, dynamic speed and thrust, counter punching, working the corner, defensive skills and drill, body punching, losing weight, cross training, basic and advanced boxing techniques, punching bag training, and more. Get only the ones you want, or get maximum impact with the entire series. Get the secrets of over 80 years of combined boxing and physical training experience in one action-packed video series. Where do you get it? Exclusively at TitleBoxing.com. TitleBoxing.com. If we don't have it, you don't need it.